Everything that has transpired has done so according to my design.
Today we will be discussing Disney, retconning the galaxy. Welcome to Rot 10, ladies and gentlemen. This episode, I want to explore the many, the vast, the plentitude of retcons that Disney has introduced into Star Wars. So let's dive right in, shall we? First up, and this is directly related to the little Force X parody that played at the front of this video. In Rise of Skywalker, by the way, spoiler alert, there's spoilers. There are spoilers in this video. So if you don't want any spoilers for Star Wars crap, click away now. But in the Rise of Skywalker, there is a scene where Kylo Ren, having no idea where Rey is, he does not know where she physically is. He connects with her via the Force, and they have a moment, an interaction together. And during this interaction, he physically pulls a necklace off of her and takes it back with him to his location. Oh, okay. Somehow this, they're able to analyze the necklace, and it enables them to determine or pinpoint their location based on the makeup of this necklace. I don't care, whatever. That's lame in and of itself. But the fact that he was able to physically pull an object with the Force from a location to his location, do they not understand the implications of this? How it retcons all of Star Wars? And I'm going back to the parody video, the Force X FedEx parody. You know what? I'm playing it again because this is how every Star Wars movie would have gone if this was a possibility.
Everything that has transpired has done so according to my design.
Yeah, so that's how that would go. If you could use the Force to physically transport objects, just pause for a moment and consider the implications of that being introduced into the Star Wars mythology. It is absolute nonsense. It breaks Star Wars. That's just for starters. Let's continue. Also in Rise of Skywalker, we are introduced to the concept of Force healing. Rey is able to use her life force to heal this snake-like creature that they encounter. And, we're led to believe this is at great expense. It doesn't seem to have any effect on Rey when she uses it to heal this creature, but yeah, now you can force heal. Do you not understand? Are you telling me that Yoda, the greatest Jedi Master in the Star Wars mythology, he had no idea about this? It wasn't part of Jedi training? Why didn't Luke force heal his father? Why didn't he heal Darth Vader and then take him with him off the Death Star? Like, why? There are so many instances in the Star Wars lore where this would have been a thing if it was a thing. And now they've made it a thing, and it sucks. Thanks, I hate it. What and in Rise of Skywalker, this plays an even, a huge important part to the ending of the film. And it's like, you're just gonna you're going to introduce these things willy-nilly to this you've paid $4 billion for this intellectual property, Disney. Do you not understand? There is a 6-film history to this saga, and you're claiming that your movies are a continuation of this saga, and you're introducing things that completely destroy the continuity and logistics of what came before. What is wrong with you? And I understand that they are trying to deliver something new to wow audiences with like things they haven't seen before, but you have to do this in a way that makes sense within the established mythology. What is wrong with you? Why would you do this? Let's move on. In Last Jedi, you've got Leia Poppins. There's a point in this film where Leia is ejected out into the cold, dark embrace of outer space. And let's just set aside the fact that at this point in the mythology, in the saga, there's no reason to believe that Leia is anything, that she has a firm grasp of the Force or Jedi powers. Whatever. I just set that aside. You're telling me that the Force can be used to not only survive the vacuum of space, but to propel yourself through it in the direction you want to go. Like, why do we need ships? Why aren't Jedi just floating through space where they want to go? What's to limit their speed? I mean, at this point, is there any logic to any of this? Can they just propel themselves through space to any destination? Why do they even need a ship? The absurdity, the level of just, I don't know. There is a lack of care here present in these movies, in what Disney has done. I can't even define for me like how it destroys everything. Everybody knows this. It's not about the individual moment. It's about what it contributes to the concept of Star Wars, what it means to the entire mythology of it. It just becomes, it's already, Star Wars at its outset was teetering on absurdity to begin with. But the reason it worked was because it had a mystery to it, and the Force was this kind of vague, interesting thing. It was something that could just be used in these kind of, I don't know, kind of soft, interesting ways that added a mystery to everything. But when you have people propelling themselves through space, it gets ridiculous. And we've touched on this in the first retcon with Kylo being able to grab a necklace right off of Rey. But this connects to the whole idea of the Force Skype, the Force FaceTime concept. Like, you do understand there were 6 films before. You remember when, Darth Vader would be there and he'd be like, I sense something. And if you had a connection to somebody, or there was somebody who was strong with the Force, that you could sense them. It was more of like it was a mysterious kind of undefinable thing that you could just sense their presence. And like, that was cool. But now you can just have face-to-face time. You can just like, hey, what's up? How you doing? They can interact with each other. And I guess they just wanted these characters to have screen time, and this was what they came up with to have it happen, because it was so difficult in the context of the film to have them have more screen time or FaceTime. And it's like, so you're going to introduce something that doesn't make sense with the history of the mythology. You have to follow the rules that were set before you. How can you not understand this? Palpatine. Rise of Skywalker. Palpatine's back. The film does fuck all to explain it, like how this is possible. I mean, maybe in some other medium or some, you're supposed to understand it's a clone, or he's just able to die and come back, or who knows? It's not explained. It doesn't make sense. They don't care to explain it. But what it does is it completely negates the entire struggle of the first 6 films. Everything that the characters achieved in those films is erased, because if Palpatine's back, doesn't matter. He just goes on. He's like, it's just an evil force at this point that cannot be wiped out. It just exists in the universe, and you're gonna have to fight it over and 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 over. Fucking stupid. And maybe this is because Ryan, killed off the main baddie with Snoke in the last. I don't know. I have no idea. But this idea of bringing Palpatine back is an abomination. It is so bad. And why are you so hell-bent? Disney, you paid $4 billion for an intellectual property that meant something to people, and it seems like you're committed to stabbing it in the heart so many times that people just can't like it anymore, that they're not going to want to engage any of it anymore. What are you doing? Finn. So Finn, I've got to say, I love this concept. Finn he was a stormtrooper that manages to break, he psychologically, mentally breaks away, frees himself from being a stormtrooper. And it's like, wow, this is going to be so good. The idea of that could have been so powerful. But what did they do with it? What is this? Nothing. Finn becomes slapstick comedy. There is nothing there. Nobody talks to him about how this happened. The rebellion doesn't even question him about how he broke away as a stormtrooper. Do you think maybe this could have been maybe we could, if that's a possibility, maybe we could, use propaganda or somehow use this to our advantage? We could cause stormtroopers to break out. You're not even going to talk to the guy about it? It's never discussed. This amazing thing has happened. That has never happened. Look, when you're talking about the timeline, you've got Anakin, right? Anakin and Luke, who is Anakin's son. So you have a generational timeline here. This is a long time period, and no stormtrooper, to our knowledge, ever broke away from the Empire or the First Order, whatever you want to call it, whatever they're calling it these days. This is a big deal, and it's like nobody's even interested in it. It's so, what a waste. This should have been a film unto itself at least. It was an amazing idea, but because it would have, the idea was so powerful, it would have almost been worth it. The retcon would have almost been worth it if they had explored it and made it into something, but they did nothing with it. So it was pointless. Another retcon. So now stormtroopers can break out and free themselves, and you're like, okay, why didn't it ever happen? Why wasn't this a thing? And you did nothing with this character. He's a fucking joke. What is wrong with you, Disney? Oh, it's shameful. Yoda. Calling down lightning to destroy and burn the Jedi texts. So now Force Ghost character can just pull down lightning, physically affect the world around them. So Force Ghost should be helping in every battle, in every scenario. It's like, do you understand, Disney, what this means? That the more Jedis you kill, it's like creating an army of Force Ghosts that can't really be, how can they be hurt? But they could do things in the physical world? Why aren't they all just dropping lightning on fools? What is happening? What are you doing? The whole concept of Force Ghosts was a bit sketchy to begin with. Just the fact that they could talk to you. But now they're physically affecting the world? Are you full of shit? Oh, man. How is this possible? So now it's just like, there should be a Force Ghost army that's just helping you fight everything all the time. There would be no point in killing something. Why? Killing a Jedi would almost be the worst thing you could do. At that point, the First Order or the Empire would, again, whatever the hell you want to call it, they wouldn't be killing Jedi. They would be imprisoning them in a deep, dark hole or something, because killing them would just turn them into something they'd have to fight. It's absurd. The Holdo maneuver. Oh, yeah. Yep. Just being able to light speed right through another ship and destroy it. Oh, man. And, Rise of Skywalker, I think Rise of Skywalker is like tried to just kind of dismiss it as like, oh, it's a 1 in a million. It was a fluke that was able to happen. We're just gonna pretend that that's just a fluke. Because what else can they do? Even Disney recognized that this ruined everything. It ruined all, it destroys the mythology of Star Wars. It's so pointless. If this is something you can do, it would be done. It would be utilized constantly. It would be a thing. So bad. Why? How does this stuff get through these people? Multiple hundreds of millions of dollars spent to produce these things, and all these people involved in like okaying it to get to screens, and you're just gonna let this stand? Why do you let these people do this? People talk about how cool it looks. I don't give a fuck how cool it looks. Don't give a shit. How can it look? How can there be any value in how cool the moment looked when it destroys Star Wars? It destroys the mythology. It doesn't look cool. It looks like a stain on everything. It's a fucking giant shit stain. Unbelievable. So, what do we have here? What Disney has seemingly gone out of its way to retcon, to introduce abilities with the Force, to introduce abilities with the ships that just dismantle, that make everything that has happened in Star Wars up to this point an impossibility. It makes it illogical. The characters wouldn't have behaved the way they did if they could do the things that Disney has introduced. Where can they go from here? They've destroyed Star Wars. The only fix at this point for Disney is to delete the entire new trilogy. Just, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, The Rise of Skywalker, just blink them out of existence, Disney, the way you did the extended universe. We know you can do it. You can just say it and it's done. Just do it, because you done messed up. You broke your property. You destroyed it. It's a mess. And it's undeniable. Okay? So, that's all I have. Thanks for watching. Disney, go fuck yourself.